From Phil Svitek comes a weekly digital series that shares his insights, concepts, and findings from years of learning and mentorship. Welcome to Phil Svitek Podcast.
Hello there. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Phil Svitek, and I'm grateful that you've clicked on this lesson. Let me ask you, have you ever heard of Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hour rule? Chances are you have, even if you didn't know that it came from him. The theory is that in order to become a master of a certain craft, you need to dedicate 10,000 hours of deliberate practice.
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand. Wax on, wax off.
How much time is 10,000 hours? It amounts to about 5 years if you spend 6 hours each and every day working towards your goal. In this instant gratification era, that might seem like a hell of a lot of time, especially when you account for no weekends and no holiday breaks. But that is what it takes. I'm not here today to argue against him because in the end it really doesn't matter. What matters is that as an artist, you continue to grow on a daily basis, that you're better today than you were yesterday. And this applies to all levels, beginner to expert, because even once you reach the level of expert, there's always something new to challenge yourself with. That's the lesson I want to go over today, which is to challenge yourself every single day.
Challenge accepted.
This idea is something I thought a lot about during my 2018 holiday break. I wanted to get back more into filmmaking and storytelling and wondered what were the ways I could do this that were cheap and of course practical. I find that no matter what each of our individual passions are, there's a financial barrier to do it at the level we desire. For example, even a short film done the way I have it visualized in my head would cost around $5,000. That's a significant amount of money for just a short film. Now, I'm not knocking short films by any means, but if we're being honest, they're more like a calling card than a product that yields financial returns. I see musicians face a similar dilemma because of the time and cost associated with getting a group together for a recording session in a studio. And there's other examples to be named. Hell, just think of the limitations you probably face. Looking at it this way frustrated the hell out of me.
Frankly, I find the whole thing a little frustrating because I can't figure it out.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
How in the hell was I supposed to grow when I could only create something sporadically? Worse is the fear that by the time I did get to create something, would it be enough? Here's the good news. There's a way to overcome these limitations. The secret is to think of it in terms of baby steps and find ways to practice your craft in out-of-the-box ways daily. For example, if you Google daily photography challenges, you'll get a heap of results for exercises photographers can tackle. One challenge may be to take a black and white photo to learn about lights and shadows. Another challenge may be to capture an image from a high or low angle. A third one might be simply to shoot a photo through a window. What each of these does is it begins to train your eye to see the world more interestingly. You'll begin to see compositions others haven't thought of. These types of daily challenges work just as well for videographers because both share the core value of striking visuals. In fact, looking up daily photography challenges was my jumping off point into thinking of new ideas that I could do, which then led me to an article about a filmmaker who shoots short films within 1 hour. 1 hour! Isn't that crazy? I've included a link to the article in the description box so you can read it firsthand. But essentially the way he got into doing this was by having the same line of questioning as I did. When I read it, it was really powerful because unlike me, he found a solution to the problem. But the nice part was reading about him inspired me and I started thinking of exercises for myself. Interestingly enough, I did have a concept a few years ago that was a different form of exercise. The concept was to take pre-existing movies' dialogue and recontextualize them into something completely different. We called it scene scrambles. Although we only did one. We took the famous lines from Taken and spun them into a babysitting story. That's right. You can check out the video, or if you'd like, take the concept and run with it. I'd love to see what you come up with. Anyway, the point is the article about the filmmaker who shoots short films within an hour reminded me of what's possible, which is to say that anything is possible. All it takes is thinking about it in a new perspective. What you have to understand about these exercises, though, is that they are not about perfection. Quite the opposite. They are about playtime. It's about trial and error. It's about learning. It's the fast fails, they say in Silicon Valley. It's about figuring out cool ways to do things in your future projects. That's what makes this fun. There is no judgment. That right there is the key. Oftentimes what prevents creatives from accomplishing their goals is not external limitations or lack of skills, it's their own fear. Doing daily challenges eliminates that because it provides you a level of comfort. When you feel you have the right knowledge to do something, you become liberated. There's a charisma that oozes from you. When you study the filmmaker who challenged himself to shoot short films in 1 hour, you begin to see how quickly his talents blossomed. And because he was doing something so bold and unheard of, who shoots even a short film in just 1 hour? Well, it made people flock to him. Bigger caliber actors were interested to work with him, and now he's got short films with them in it. That's insane.
What'd you just say?
He's telling you the truth, man. It's all in your head.
So what's the takeaway? It's that no matter what your field or medium of passion is, find ways to exercise that passion daily. If you're a musician, try a new instrument daily or write lyrics for a song based on various and random subjects. If you're a poet, construct a poem using different sets of rules. Be creative because the more inventive you are with these challenges, the more you'll grow. It's that simple. People ask me how I became such a good editor. The answer is when I was young, I used to film everything regardless of what it was or how bad it looked. But I take that footage and splice it together to see what cuts worked and what story I could mesh together, which is probably why I've always gravitated towards documentary style projects. But enough of my own rambling. You know what to do. Create daily challenges for yourself. Better yet, form a group and have everyone participate in the brainstorming session and execution. It'll be fun to see what the end products are because no matter how singular the challenge is, there will always be infinite ways to execute it. And that's the fun. So get to it. And by all means, send me some of your stuff. I promise I won't judge. I'll just applaud you for the efforts. Now, before you click away to another lesson of mine, here's a few more things. For your benefit, the transcript of this episode is in my website. A link is provided so you can always review it. Leave a comment with your thoughts and opinions and what lessons you'd like to see me tackle next. The more specific that you are with your questions, the better I can cater these episodes towards you. Also, you can support this show on patreon.com/PhilSvitek if it doesn't burden you financially in any way. Every contribution is truly appreciated and helps defray the cost of putting on the show, which as you can imagine takes a lot of effort. But honestly, one of the best and easy ways to support this show is when you hit that like button, rate the podcast, and tell your friends and family about it. It's free to do, and it helps tremendously. If you're new to the series and you want to be notified when future episodes release, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any other platform that is most convenient to you. Specific links are provided below. Should you be a new host in the LA area and are looking for opportunities, I encourage you to check out AfterBuzz TV. It's a network I've been a part of that has taught me much of the things I know and has groomed some of the best hosts in the world, including Us Weekly's Jackie Moran, MTV's Morgan Willett, and hundreds of others. Plus, they have a fantastic internship program for college students if you happen to be one. I provide AfterBuzz TV's contact page link below as well. Lastly, I want to give credit where credit is due. I couldn't do this show alone, so big shout outs to my producer Juliet Libert and my new editor Anthony Becerra. They work hard behind the scenes to help me bring these lessons to you. To stay up to date with all the creative projects we're doing, follow me at Phil Svitek, follow Juliet at Bonjour Juliet, and Tony at TonyBTony_. Don't forget that underscore. Thanks for watching. I'm Phil Svitek, and I'll see you next week with another one of my lessons. Bye.